Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm back from my break with a big video, the entire story of Friday Night Funkin'. So far at least. If you're wondering where the info I will be telling you is from, it's Phantom Arcade's streams, where he has explained the cutscenes and lore he envisions for the game. Alright, let's get started with how the game began. Friday Night Funkin' originally wasn't intended to be what it has become, a game that has a full story in development as well as $2 million funding it. No, FNF was made for a game jam, more specifically LUDUM Dare 47, which had the theme Stuck in a Loop. Anyways, the game was pretty bare bones by the time it was submitted to the game jam, only having 2 songs I'm pretty sure, Bobby Bo and Fresh. It still had the basic premise of the dad being mad at boyfriend though. Now, development continues and week 1 is completed, so let's get into the story of that. Now, the story of week 1 is where the whole game begins, obviously. In the cutscene that will eventually be at the start of the week, boyfriend and girlfriend are about to, do the deed when Daddy Dearest walks in abruptly. One thing leads to another, and now boyfriend has to rap battle him to be with girlfriend. The songs of week 1 are pretty simple, dad battle being the only one that could be considered a challenge. This is because Daddy Dearest is a retired rock star, and might not have his previous spark, from however many years back. Week 1 just exists as an introduction to the gameplay in the story, so there's not much else to it. Boyfriend's victory does however affect the story sooner than you may think. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I have the answer. As I said at the start of the video, I'm telling you the story in chronological order. So yeah, week 3 is after week 1 in the story, not week 2. The week order in game is incorrect right now. Anyways, so in week 3 you face off against the well-known Newgrounds character Pico. This is obviously because the game is a Newgrounds project. But what's the lore reason? Well, Daddy Dearest was pretty embarrassed after losing to boyfriend. Now, if you were Daddy Dearest and weren't too happy about losing, would you A. ask for a rematch someday, or B. hire a mercenary to kill someone at a specified location without giving any proper details about what they look like? Well, if you didn't choose B, you'd be wrong. But then why is boyfriend alive? Simple answer really. Pico obviously didn't know who to kill. For whatever reason, Daddy Dearest only gave a location, as I said before. Somehow he must have knew where boyfriend and girlfriend were going that night. So when Pico arrived, he was in a bit of a shock to see his ex. Now, obviously Pico wasn't going to kill somebody he was once in a relationship with. So instead they just have epic rap battle. Yeah, alright, that's all there is to week 3, let's move on. Week 4 introduces 2 interesting characters, but let's start with the star of the show. Girlfriend's mom, otherwise known as Mommy Mirrorist, is angry at boyfriend like the dad for dating her daughter. How has she decided to go about this situation? Singing, of course. The mom is quite different to the dad in that she is not retired and is currently a pop star. This explains why her songs are more challenging than the dad's, especially that one. Now, let's talk about the setting. Boyfriend and the mom face off on top of limos as other cars drive by. Is this dangerous? Of course it is. Originally, the devs intended for lampposts that kill the henchmen in the back from time to time as they got hit by them, but this is either scrapped or coming at a later date. But why would the henchmen be able to die over and over again? Well, Phantom Arcade explained that they are all just cloned in jars, which is a bit ridiculous but explains why there's an infinite amount of henchmen. Will this be important in the story later on? Probably not. I reckon it's just so they can just die over and over again in the background as a little funny thing. That's all there is to week 4. Let's move on. So, we now reach week 2, featuring the 2 spooky kids made and voiced by Pello. So, week 2 takes place in a spooky mansion owned by the parents, where they have decided to go on Halloween night, bringing girlfriend and boyfriend along. Why would they let boyfriend come? Somebody they hate? Well, really, they just took the opportunity to play cruel and scary tricks on him. How kind, right? Anyways, boyfriend and girlfriend were handing out candy later on, and the spooky kids show up. Now, you would hope that they'd just ask for candy, right? But no, they asked for the girlfriend. Now, I've said this before, but that sounds stupid, right? There is actually an explanation, surprisingly enough. A certain somebody tricked the kids into thinking that girlfriend was like the ultimate treat. Who could that be?
Break it down.
The monster, obviously. He tried to use the spooky kids to make them get girlfriend for him. Why? Well,
And then I'm gonna eat your girlfriend.
I guess the monster showing up in the third song is him just taking matters into his own hands, but still failing. Well, that's the story of week 2. 2 fun little facts real quick before I move on. The monster is actually supposedly not designed after the band Lemon Demon, despite their songs being very prominent on Newgrounds. The devs saying it's just a coincidence or something. Lastly, the Spooky Month series has a total of 90 million views on YouTube, which is like 40 million more since my video on week 2. Jeez. The story of week 5 is simple enough. Boyfriend and girlfriend were heading to the mall, decked out with winter outfits and ready to meet Santa. Unfortunately for them though, the dad and mum don't want boyfriend to have fun, so now Santa is being held at gunpoint. Boyfriend now has to battle the two of them in this mall, all the shoppers gathering around to watch the showdown. Unfortunately, somebody else is there to cause a little trouble as well. Everyone has now ran away for an obvious reason. The monster has shown its true power, having turned the entire mall into some kind of nightmare. Now, as we know, eventually every week we'll have a cutscene, as I stated previously. Supposedly, before Winter Horrorland starts, there will be more than just the camera panning down from the head atop the tree. Something will happen in regard to the mum maybe, as when Phantom Arcade was asked if she died in week 5, somebody thought the head on top of the tree was the mum. He said he couldn't be certain. All we know for sure about this cutscene is that he said it would make you smile, this implying something important will happen. One thing that is for certain though, is that the mum probably isn't dead, as she comes up in week 7. More on that later. Anyways, good thing this video is only about the story so far, because there is so much unconfirmed. To finish up, there's one little fun fact about week 5. Santa is, dead. Alright, let's move on. Before I get into the lore of week 6, I want to point out something that I'm a bit uncertain of. I've decided to put it after week 5 because, well, it was released after it, but technically it could fit both here and here in the timeline. Why? Well, the lore of week 6 is that boyfriend and girlfriend were playing girlfriend's favourite dating sim in her room when the dad came in. He wasn't too happy about boyfriend having fun, yet again, so he throws the two of them into the game. How? I'd rather pretend it doesn't need an explanation. Let's just say he has like demonic powers that let him do that or something. Anyways, as you can see, this story doesn't exactly link to any other events that have happened previously. Let's just stick with it being released after week 5 though. Alright, getting back on topic now. So, things are pretty normal at first with Senpai, as it's only when the spirit leaves his body that he is no longer himself. Does that mean that the dialogue in Roses isn't a result of the spirit breaking through? That's what I thought originally, but apparently those are just words coming out of Senpai's own mouth. Rude much? Now, the spirit's dialogue. This dialogue is what kicked off interest in the game's lore. The majority of the fanbase probably not even thinking that there was lore in Friday Night Funkin' until week 6. I mean, I didn't. Heck, my first ever lore video, which was my first ever popular video, was about this lore. Anyways, the spirit explains that it is a victim of girlfriend's father, having been thrown in this video game as some kind of cruel punishment for losing to him. He wants to escape from the game through boyfriend, which is why boyfriend must battle him to prevent such a thing from happening. Anyways, week 6 teaches us something interesting. It is highly likely that we will meet more victims of the dad, which will allow us to understand more about the story and how powerful the dad may be. Alright, time for the final week. So, with week 7, the week before it explains why the events occur. That week isn't week 6 obviously, that would make no sense, but instead a week that is going to be released at a later date. What happens in this week? Well, Dad and Mom are up to their usual trickery, in that they pay for a vacation for boyfriend and girlfriend to go off and enjoy themselves. Unfortunately for boyfriend though, this is a plan to get him killed. Once the plan is in flight, something goes wrong. Phantom Arcade said he couldn't specify what, likely because it would reveal who the character is of that week, and boyfriend and girlfriend end up in freefall. Phantom Arcade said that the parents knew that this wouldn't be a problem for girlfriend, as she is invincible. More on that soon. Anyways, somehow, boyfriend survives, and they end up in the restricted military zone. Now, the parents' plan has obviously not gone well. Boyfriend may have survived, which was not the intention, but now he is in a war zone, so surely he'll just get killed, right? Well, no. This happens instead.
Well, what do we got here? We should just kill you, but what the hell, it's been a boring day. Let's see what you got.
Anyways, so boyfriend battles the captain for 2 songs until we reach the 3rd song, Stress. This is where lore is revealed in game like in week 6, rather than Phantom Arcade's streams. So, it is revealed that girlfriend is in fact a demon, as we see her skin turn a tinge of purple as she was about to do something dangerous, before being interrupted by Pico. Speaking of Pico, let's get into why he was here in the first place. Pico was actually hired by Daddy Dearest again, despite failing to kill boyfriend in week 3. His task was a bit more simple this time, however. It turns out that boyfriend and girlfriend actually had trackers on them this whole time. This was so Pico could confirm that boyfriend was dead, girlfriend not having to worry, as she is a demon. This is how he ended up in the military zone, and was just on time to save the day, probably having to fight the entire army just to make it on time. I guess instead of doing his job right, Pico has sided with boyfriend yet again. This time to help him rather than just not killing him in week 3. Alright, to wrap things up, there's one last bit of info. Because Pico helped boyfriend, Phantom Arcade has said that he is likely going to be in a lot of trouble now with the parents. This will build on the lore later on, so I'm interested to see what happens. So yeah, that's all there is for now. Friday Night Funkin' still has a long way to go. The $2 million raised in the Kickstarter meaning there'll be like another 45 weeks? Just so you know, you can count on me to explain each week, whether that be theorizing or using facts from the devs whenever they come along. So, consider subscribing if you want to join me through whatever Friday Night Funkin' may throw at us next. This was my longest and most difficult video to make yet, and I hope that shows. Alright, see you guys later. Bye!
Hi guys, Blue Stop Sign has forced me to create this, so please make sure to click all the videos in the world created by him. Please make sure to like and subscribe at 3 AM, otherwise Flopper Bread will get you, specifically at 3 AM.